everyone. I'm C. I studied in France for 6 years, and during my studies, I made my internship at UBS in Paris and at United Nations in New York. And I came back to China in 2012. And just before 2 weeks, I met Ricky.
And now we're partners.
Yes.
So awesome.
Yes, I joined his crazy idea, and then we became partners.
Okay, yeah. So I'm known for crazy ideas, so this is not new. I've been in China for 4 years, and I came here with the transfer from Google. I quit Google and started a hackerspace. Then I did a hardware startup, and now I'm doing a different CTO. But this is like my next thing, XPRIZE. So I'd like to explain to you all what it is and what it means, right? So we'll start with a quiz. Since you guys are all in business and you want to be successful businessmen, you should know this. So we'll start with this guy. Who's this guy?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, good answer. What did he do?
He's got aerospace and he's got Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Congrats.
You got a kiss from Ricky.
I'm working on
Okay.
No.
From Ricky.
So we said a kiss from C if it's
No,
a guy,
from
and a
Ricky.
kiss
come
from
on,
me.
Ricky, give it.
Go for a hug. Come in.
Okay, next
Okay,
one.
next one. Who's this guy? This is like the woman's favorite movie of all time. I
It's not
think.
Yeah.
50 Shades of
Very
Grey.
romantic
No.
movie. Very romantic
You don't
movie.
recognize this guy?
Harry Potter.
No. It's
Maybe
romantic
if I show you
movie.
this. Yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah.
Very successful director, right? And he's also done Titanic, the very romantic movie. So, okay, so this is a little bit harder.
Yes.
Do anyone recognize this person? I don't think so. I don't think you could. But she's actually Miss Ansari, and she's the first self-funded private tourist to the space station, right? So pretty cool achievement. And what all these three persons have in common is they're part of the board of trustee for the XPRIZE Foundation. So in the XPRIZE Foundation, you've got like people like the Ansari, I guess, family, James Cameron, Elon Musk, Larry Page. So it's a quite, influential organization. Now the question you're going to ask me is, what is the XPRIZE? And I have a slide for that. So what is the XPRIZE? So it's basically the XPRIZE Foundation is concerned in creating competition that are highly incentivized, tens of millions of dollars US, and that are on a global scale. So like that have an impact worldwide, and that also have teams from everywhere. And finally, that are highly visible. So 10 years ago, I think last year, was the anniversary for the Ansari XPRIZE, which was a competition to create the first privately funded suborbital flight, so Spaceship One. And, oh, where's the chicken? Yeah, where's my chicken?
Sorry guys, we lost the chicken.
Oh, it's actually, no. This is good. I added, repeated. Okay, so it's a competition, it's a race, right? And as I said, the Ansari XPRIZE was the first one that they awarded in 2004. It's very well known. You can find actually a replica of this spaceship in Google campus, in one of the main lobby. It's pretty cool. And they've continued doing these competitions. So the latest one related to space exploration is the Google Lunar XPRIZE. That's a very ambitious competition to land a rover, privately funded rover. So I mean, the countries have done it, right? But no companies have actually done it, or a private organization. And they have a $30 million prize associated to that. And then the next, they obviously do more, like global scale problem, cover like things like ocean health. So right now there's an increased acidification of the ocean, so they want to find a way to measure it at scale, right, and accurately from the surface to the lowest depth. And finally, the one that I personally very interested in is the Global Learning XPRIZE. The Global Learning XPRIZE is interested in creating, the competition is built to create a software that will allow hundreds of millions of kids in a developing country to learn how to read, write, and basic math by themselves without access to classes in school. So this could change how we do education globally. So if you want more information on the XPRIZE, before we continue, so there's an xprize.org website. So all the information is there. And there's also XPRIZE that's put in place. So these are for the big, there's about 4 big competition right now. But they've got a platform called Hero X for like a little bit smaller price, so hundreds of thousands. It's like, yeah. So that Hero X, you have to check it out, herox.com. So the idea is a little bit in the same kind as Kickstarter or others. Is to create competition from different company putting the money up and people participating into it. So Steve will talk about like why are we doing this.
Okay, and speaking of why XPRIZE, and I would like to show you guys a video first.
And then again.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Okay, that is quite inspiring. We know that this speech was from Kennedy, in Rice University, and the speech name is "We Trip to the Moon." And imagine that before 60 years, if there was a competition between America and the Soviet Union, and if Kennedy didn't push it so hard, humankind might have not landed on the moon yet, right? And I think most of the time we underestimate our capability, and we always think we're so far away from changing the world, and we think changing the world should belong to scientists. And we even don't really know what the limitation of our potential is. And that's why we need something like XPRIZE to push people to achieve a goal seems impossible, and to help us move forward, and to make people believe that everyone is actually very, very close to changing the world. And according to the Peter Diamandis saying, who is founder of XPRIZE, even like 99.9% of people may fail. But if we have one person somewhere solves a problem, and we've got a breakthrough, and he doesn't care what your background is or which school you went. As long as you can solve the problem, and you'll win. And let's watch the video of Peter Diamandis.
And what it really matters is your passion. Are you ready to do what it takes to solve the problem that you care about? Have you figured out what your purpose is on this world today? Because today, an individual can positively impact the lives of 1 billion people. It's never been that way before.
Yeah. So Peter Diamandis has a strong belief in the power of technology to change the world, obviously. And of course, like if you look at how this relates to China, the same challenges that we found elsewhere also exist on a large scale in China. So for example, taking care of the older generation. So China is getting older very quickly, so healthcare is becoming very critical. So cheap access to healthcare. You know this one. There's also like water and soil, right? That is an issue, so we all know about this. And there's also like the disasters, right? We're at like China is very vulnerable to large-scale disasters, of course, with the size of the population. So how is this relevant to China? So China has had a little bit of participation into, for example, the Lunar Prize, XPRIZE, or for example, there's a team for the ocean health to design the device to measure acidity. But those are very few and far between. And another team is me and my brother who want to do the global learning XPRIZE. So we're getting started with that. So it's kind of related to China because I'm in Shanghai right now. So with C-Help, we're going to build a team. But all of this means that it'd be nice that if China could be more related to the community, the XPRIZE community, right? So XPRIZE as a competition also creates an extension to create a global community of people. So in every region have different think tanks that can help with both creating community and solving the problem. So you can see that through, it started with the discussion forum, but now they're extended, they try to create an organization that will create meetings locally. So me and C basically are founding this XPRIZE Shanghai think tank. So the idea is to do things like create more think tanks across China, find practical solutions to problems, maybe sub-problems of the larger scale problems, organize events, and make it more relevant to the communities in China, right? And push, I think, finally for XPRIZE funded by Chinese companies. So next. So we've officially announced that we were creating it. So we had our first few meetups, and we were welcomed the organization. And me and C, next slide. Yeah, we're partners now in crime. And I think that what the next step is to try to get more of China to be familiar with it, and maybe get the companies, very successful companies in China, to start funding their own XPRIZE. You know, so maybe the Suning air quality XPRIZE, or the Huawei, I don't know, like another prize for the healthcare, Huawei for healthcare, or Alibaba for electronic currency, maybe, you know? Maybe so there's a lot of challenges. Yeah, so get these companies that are very big, very successful to start participating in there, because obviously XPRIZE needs money, right? So both the teams that participate to solve the challenge and the XPRIZE itself to create the necessary incentive needs the fund to do it. And so we also need, to be able to go out to them, we need a team of maybe photographers, next graphic designers. So this is my idea of the logo, you know. So we have because the Pearl Tower looks like a rocket. We could put the moon in there. Think about the logo, it would be pretty cool, right? So you combine these three elements. Do more presentation, reach out to more people.
Where's that?
That's at the, okay, so this is, good question. This is at the Shenzhen Hackerspace. If you guys haven't visited, every Wednesday there's tech talks, and I think what's interesting about this community is that it has physical space, it has tools, mechanical tools, electronic tools, software, it has people that are very interested in doing interesting stuff. So it's a good hosting community for these kinds of projects. So you can see a website, so they give classes on, for example, the microcontroller programming. So I have said, if you're interested, there's officially the organization goes through the meetup. So we're going to try to announce all the meetups and the organization meetings through that. So you can see we have a couple members, 19 people that have already joined the group. So I don't know what that means in actuality, but we have 19 people in the group. And yeah, if you can help us with the logo, making promotional material, start talking with people that would be interested, maybe either in sponsoring or quitting their job and doing an XPRIZE team, you can also do that. Help with the organization of the events. You know, events are very, our dream is actually to get to a point where we have enough people that, you know, Peter Diamandis or Elon Musk and or Larry Page and or other famous people would come to Shanghai to talk to China about the XPRIZE and get the community more involved. So yeah, so here's the meetup page, and there's a QR code that is valid for now for the group. And I think So Sia has created a LinkedIn group, a subscription
group.
account. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to we can share that in a group. That's it. So any questions?